This tutorial will show how to add other components such as toilets, sinks, and some of the elements you might download from Revit City or other websites like BIM Object. These are things that can be hosted, like the windows and doors are hosted in a wall and they have to have something in order to attach to it, or they can be things that are not hosted. So this is similar also to what was mentioned in a previous tutorial about detail components that we use only in details like wall sections and floor plan details. These are architectural components which do not need to be used in details, and sometimes if you try to use them in details can cause problems, just like if you try to use a detail component in a floor plan or an elevation, it might not work. So here we go to the Architecture tab, and then we go to the Component. You notice there's a pull down, and we can place a component, which are things that are already created. So that's something that you again would get from the Revit library, from BIM Object, or from Revit City, or you can model something in place. You can create something from an existing component and edit it, or you can create something brand new. We're not going to learn that right now. We're going to stick with components that are already pre-made. You notice that we still have the elevator here from when we brought that component in, and then there are other things that are built into the Revit model, like some furniture, a desk, parking spaces, trees, other random things like that. I'm interested in adding some things for bathrooms, so I'm going to go to Load Family. I'm going to go back to the main library, and I'm going to go to the Plumbing folder. Within Plumbing, I can go to MEP, and then Architectural is what I want because I'm looking for fixtures for a bathroom. So that's when I would click on the Fixtures folder as opposed to the Equipment folder. Fixtures are going to be things like bathtubs, water fountains, showers, sinks, and urinals. Water closets are also something that we don't typically use. We call them toilets. And then they give us different options like a 2D and a 3D option. We also have domestic, which typically are floor mounted, versus commercial, which are wall mounted. Since this is a residential project, I'm going to pick the 3D domestic. And now it's loaded into the project and you can see that it's floating around. So I could put it anywhere. So this shows that this is an element that is not a hosted element. It does not have to be attached to a wall. So I'm going to pretend that this is my bathroom and I'm going to place that toilet. So now I need a tub and other elements, so I'm going to go back to Component, Load Family, and I'm going to look for a bathtub. That's also a fixture, and they give me also 2D and 3D options, so I'm going to pick the 3D option, and you notice it shows a wall here, so that's a clue that this is going to be wall hosted. So I open that up, and it loads in, and you see the little circle with a slash through it, meaning I can't place it in the middle of the space. I have to be near a wall. Doesn't matter which wall, but I need to be near a wall. So I can place it here, and I can't move it up or over, but I can move it from side to side. I can flip its orientation. But all of those things are limited because this is a wall mounted as opposed to a free element like that toilet was. I can bring in other things like a cabinet. That would be in a different folder. So I go back to the main folder. That would be in casework. You see they've got wall cabinets for upper cabinets, tall cabinets, shelving, even countertops and base cabinets. We're going to go into the base cabinet and then we're going to look for a vanity because that's typically what we have in a bathroom. Depending on what we're interested in, we can select one of these. I'm going to go with a single door, and I'm going to bring that cabinet in, and here we're going to move it around, and this is where interior elevations can be helpful because we can see if we're placing that correctly. Next, I want to add a countertop. That's still in that casework folder, but I need to go back up and go to countertops. And here you notice they have countertops specifically for vanities, so I pick the one that I want. And you see that the countertop is not exactly the same size, so I can actually attach it and then edit it. And what I want to do is I want to center this opening over the sink. Even though I can't adjust it, anything with an arrow allows me to adjust, but it tends to be easier to adjust the sides than the actual opening. Last, I'm going to add a sink, and I'll need to go back to the plumbing in order to find the sink that works for the vanity. We're still in architectural, and it is still a fixture, and they do have sink, vanity, square, and I want to place it in relation to that opening in the countertop. Sometimes it doesn't always place perfectly, so I might need to zoom in and adjust it a bit. And we didn't place any interior elevation symbols in there, but if I move the section symbol over and I look at my building section, I can now see I'm cutting through that tub, and I can see the sink and the countertop and the vanity that I placed in. There are many other types of architectural components that you can put in, like furniture, even people, so you can play with all of those elements and add them to your project.